My wife Jennifer and I have made the decision to move to Hawaii, and in January of 20, I opened up the Keller Williams franchise here with my business partners. By the second week of March, we had signed the lease on the office space, and by the third week of March, they closed the country. Hi, I'm Dan Polimino from KW Big Island and the Hawaii team. Well, today we are in part 4 of a series we've been doing called Getting to Know Dan. Yeah, if you just check here on this YouTube channel, you can watch parts 1, 2, and 3. And again, the purpose of this was I was at our conference and the guy that was speaking that said, hey, Dan, people will do business with you if they know you and trust you. And I thought, well, how do they know me? And so I did this 4-part series on Getting to Know Dan. When we last left you, we were in part 3, and my wife Jennifer and I have made the decision to move to Hawaii. And I told you that there were some factors that came into that decision, and so that's where we pick up in the story. And I had just turned 50, and I was leading a really busy and stressful lifestyle. I had the brokerage firm and my team in Denver. I had brokerage firm in San Diego, and we had our house here in Hawaii, and I was licensed in all 3 states, and I was moving around doing a lot of transactions. I had a lot of stomach issues and saw a bunch of doctors and a bunch of specialists, and nobody could really figure out what was going wrong with me. And then finally one doctor sat me down and leveled with me. He said, Dan, what you have is a symptom of your lifestyle. And anytime you want to eliminate some of the stress and the anxiety and the travel and the constant transactions and the phone implanted in your ear, I think you'll get better. And so that really resonated with me. And the other reason why we made a move was when I got married to Jennifer, she had a real desire to move back to Kona. She's from Kona, and I told her we'd move back in 2 years, and 23 years later, I made good on that promise, but at least I made good on the promise. So the idea was move back to Kona and drastically change my lifestyle. And part of that was a discussion we had about what would it look like to divest ourselves of everything that we owned. What would it look like if we sold the house in Colorado? We had a family property in New York that we sold. And what would it look like to sell my shares in the Denver office and in the San Diego office and really just clean house and sell pretty much everything that we had and get down to a much simpler lifestyle? And so we made that decision in March of 2019, and by July of 2019, we had done that and moved full-time to the Hawaii house. And when I got here, I really didn't have a plan. All I knew was that I wanted to sleep for 6 months. That was my goal. Just sleep for 6 months, clear my head, see if I could feel better, and figure out what I wanted to do with the next chapter of my life. I wasn't sure that I was going to continue in real estate. I didn't know if I was going to go be a boat captain. I just wanted to figure it out. And so I got here in July of 2019, and I did. I slept for about 6 months. And believe it or not, the doctor was right. All of my stomach issues cleared up. I felt so much better. And then towards the end of 2019, Jennifer was like, listen, you're 50 years old. You're way too young to be retired. You need to go figure out what you're going to do with your life, and I need you to get out of the house because you're driving me crazy. So I understood all of that, and about that time, my business partners found me, that's what I say, and they said, hey, you know, there's no Keller Williams in Hawaii on the Big Island. Why don't you be the first person and open up the Keller Williams there? And I had been down that road before, and I knew how much work was involved, and initially I said no, I wasn't interested, but then Jennifer used logic on me, and she said, listen, you're not doing anything now. Why don't you give it a try? And of course, if you don't like it, you can go back into semi-retirement and figure out what you want to do. And so I called my business partners back, and I said, okay, I will give it a shot. And in January of 20, I opened up the Keller Williams franchise here with my business partners. As you can see where this is going, by mid-February, you know, we had about 6 agents then working for us, and I started having these conversations like, hey, what do you think about this virus thing? Like, you think this is going to be a problem? Like, had we only known, right? Because by the second week of March, we had signed the lease on the office space, and by the third week of March, they closed the country. And I allowed myself to have a pity party for myself at my desk for about 15 minutes before I gathered myself, and I said, okay, Dan, what do you do when you're in crisis? I do the same thing every time I'm in crisis. And that is, I pick up the phone and I start making as many phone calls as I need until I'm out of the crisis. And I thought, all of these agents here on the island's locked down, they're all at home. I got a captive audience, why don't I call them? And why don't I tell them 3 things? Why don't I tell them who I am, who Keller Williams is, and why don't I give them a step-by-step plan about how we're gonna get through the pandemic? And that's what I did. I just started making phone calls. And the agents on the other end of the line were incredibly receptive. They listened to what I said, and then they said something to me really strange. They said, no one from my brokerage firm is calling to talk to me about this. And I said, well, maybe you're with the wrong brokerage firm. And slowly but surely, agents started coming over, and before you know it, by the end of 2020, we had 50 agents with Keller Williams, and then it went to 60 and 70 and so forth. And all the while, I'm still in production. I'm still, selling homes, helping people buy and sell homes. And before long, I became one of the top agents here on the island, and we have a very successful brokerage firm. So that's kind of how we got here and what we did while we're here. And it's been a really interesting journey. I never really expected what it was going to be like to start all over again at age 50, and I learned a ton. And we've been really successful selling some amazing properties here on the island, and have become a trusted resource. So, as always, if you need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, contact us here at the Hawaii team. We'd love to help you. 808-913-0899, 808-913-0899. And if you like these videos, hit the subscribe button, or do me a favor and share them with a friend so more people can enjoy them as well, and just hit the share button. And if you call, I'll pick up the phone, and I'd love to talk with you and earn your business. Have a great week, everybody. Aloha.